Hi, I'm back with 25 books of 2025. Interesting too because for those who actually saw my New Year's resolution video, I have literally done book projects and I've had to move them around. Essentially, the Illustrated Mum was due to be coming out next year. However, with the sequel coming out this year, I moved the Illustrated Mum over to this year's. So basically, in the actual book project, there's actually two slots left, and they're going to do sequel to the Illustrated Mum and also to Elphaba. Now, secondly, when it comes to the Wizard of Oz, I know my shit. Okay, I know my shit when it comes to Wizard of Oz. It's one of my favorite films when I was growing up. I read the book, well, a little bit older. I've actually done a book review, incidentally, this year coming up on the original Wizard of Oz by Frank L. Baum, which came out in 1901. Okay, it's a classic for a reason. So it's been twisted, interpreted, many versions of it. So I'm going to show off my Wizard of Oz merch if you would approve the case that I have Wizard of Oz credentials. So first of all, my Wicked Witch Build-A-Bear, okay, which by the way I actually saw on eBay for 60 quid, but I'm not selling her. So she's absolutely perfect. Don't know the certificate that's kicking around somewhere. And actually is Elphaba, okay. So, yep. So for the Wizard of Oz anniversary, okay, does it say which anniversary? Okay, so yep, my Elphie, right? My copy of Tin Man. Tin Man is a brilliant, made by Sky. Fantastic interpretation of the Wizard of Oz. It's like this technically a sequel, got some great flashback and cameo moments. Okay, and if any who've seen this, okay. First of all, the lead is Zoe Deschanel. Love her, great actress. Alan Cumming played Glitch. He's basically the stepping for the Scarecrow. You cannot tell me, okay, that he is not DG. That's the actual character's name's biological father. Okay, yes, they look way more alike than you'd ever believe. But anyway, this is a great film. Well, actually, no, it's a great TV series. Okay, so here we are. This my dad got me. I absolutely love this. He got this on Pastimes for no reason that he knows how much I love the Wizard of Oz and he thought it was pretty, so he got this for me. Here you go, Ruby Slippers brooch. Okay, from Pastimes. You can see that. Yep. So now we're going to Wicked. When I saw Wicked, I got the big popcorn bottle. Okay, with the drink. Now actually use a drink. And also I've got these from Liberties. They were reduced. The Wicked coin. Here you go. So now the reason why I'm showing off my merch, some of my merch, my Blu-ray of the Wizard of Oz is in the bookcase over there. It's just to prove, okay, when it comes to the Wizard of Oz and Wicked, I have credentials. I have actually met Gregory Maguire, the author of Wicked. We did a book signing several years ago in London. He signed my books of Wicked, and first of all, I'm going to give some respect to Gregory Maguire. He's a nice guy, okay? He's a nice guy. So when it comes to the prequel, okay, well, first of all, the prequel of the book Wicked, not the musical Wicked. That's very, very interesting too. This is not a sequel, sorry, a prequel to the musical. It's a prequel to the original book Wicked. For those who actually read Wicked, a lot of differences. A lot of differences. Understatement of the year. In the original Wicked, Nessarose, Elphaba's sister, she has no arms. She's born with an inability to walk in a typical manner. However, she's also born with no arms. In the musical film as well, which is absolutely brilliant, she just can't walk. Her arms are complete. So little things like that. And also, okay, it's Gregory said that he based Elphaba, the Wicked Witch of the West, of the book The Wicked Witch of the West, for the Wizard of Oz. No, he absolutely didn't. Everyone knows that because in the original book, first of all, she's not green, and she's scared of the dark, if you will. Right. So yes, she's not green. And also in the actual film, she's not the only green character because the guards are also green. And in Oz, Winkies are green. So I just thought, okay, that the Wicked Witch of the West was a Winky. Okay. So anyway, Elphie, A Wicked Child by Gregory Maguire. And to be honest, as someone okay who has Wizard of Oz credentials, okay, I hated this book with a passion. I absolutely hated this book. Yeah. Now let's get started. Okay, first of all, edit here because, hey, I just had to put some of the merch away. She stays. Okay, so Elphie by Gregory Maguire, A Wicked Childhood. We have with the blurb. The spellbinding prequel to Wicked. Young Elphaba is destined to be a witch. She bears the markings from childhood, but what happened before her powers took hold? Elphie is like a girl like any other and no other. They're like her parents, one beautiful, the other pious. Um, no, I saintly sister Nessarose. Her skin is green, her mind is cunning. One day she will command this strange and wonderful world. For now her journey is just beginning. The road ahead is full of lessons and heartbreak, the first bruising attempts at friendship, and tantalising whispers of magic. It will lead Elphie to the doors of Shiz University and to the girl who will change her life forever. Right, this is a captivating coming-of-age story of the most iconic witch in Oz. Okay, so Bard from Feltham Library, gotta go back soon. And it's actually dedicated to, right, it's dedicated to Adina Menzel and Cynthia Erivo, and for all the Elphabas past and to come. Is it gonna write like a prequel novel from Galinda or Galinda's point of view, and dedicate it to Christine Chenoweth and what's her name, Ariana Grande? That's it. So that's how it's gonna go because, hey, first of all, great job, but still, yeah, okay. It'd be nice, okay, if Cynthia actually won Best Actress. I mean, she actually earned it. I mean, she did a fantastic job. But my actual first Elphaba is not Idina Menzel, it's Kerry Ellis. We've actually met, by the way. She's absolutely wonderful. She did like a concert in London, and I went to the stage door, and she saw my program, and I said, "You're my Elphaba. You're the Elphaba I first saw on stage." I didn't get the soundtrack till later, so when I think of Defying Gravity or As Long as You're Mine, I always hear Kerry Ellis's voice and not Dina Menzel's. You know, she's on the official soundtrack, and Kerry Ellis is absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so it starts off with it's this bit here. Okay, some children are more alert than others. This girl was one of them. Elphie, the nanny calls her. Elphie, get down from there. Elphie, mind your tongue. Elphie, get your fingers out. Elphie, a green child in a green, green world. Made green is as invisible to her as the concept of time, gravity, justice. She's only a child on a blanket. The centre structure in this is just like felt very soundbitey. Very, very soundbitey. And when it comes to Melina, who is Elphaba's mother, who okay, for those actually read the book by Gregory Maguire, and I do recommend, you know, I'm going to put it in the links, a video by Dominic Noble. He's a YouTuber I've followed for years. I absolutely love his content. He's brilliant at what he does. Mentions how in the original Wicked book, the conception of Elphaba would not be what you would consider consensual, if you will. Okay, right. And this kind of, in a way, alludes that basically Melina had a very, very unhappy life. Absolutely. An interesting too, okay, because Melina is a character who's not really focused on a lot. During the original Wicked book, she's already passed on, but the flashbacks to her is a woman of contradictions. And that's actually some things I liked. I mean, essentially, you can see how her influence really kind of shaped Elphaba. Okay? This bit here. She's left home twice. The first eloping with Frex, that's Elphaba's father, to the harsh outback of Wen Hardin's Munchkinland, where Elphie was born. Sheep shit country. Hey, okay. And having returned to her family's dismay for the birth of her second daughter, she manages to slip away again. It'll be the first fun of a treat, though she hasn't been proven yet. Melina is still alive. Here you go. She has a strolling eye. Where's the crime in that? Everyone's got a pretty little flaw hidden behind the party smile and the better shoes. Shoes. Hers is a loneliness, she decides, taking longer than necessary to wash herself in an attractive pose of public disability. Need to be seen by men, so what? And interesting too, because in this, it contains the death of Turtle Heart. Now, Turtle Heart, and okay, I'll be honest, this bored the hell out of me. Turtle Heart, in the book, he was the lover of both Frex and Melina. Okay, they were a throuple. Okay, hey, they were a throuple, and he was sacrificed. He was killed, and his death really runs through this novel. But the problem is this: it's we never really get to know Turtle Heart as a character, and his death was kind of really kind of felt kind of off scene, if you will, off book. So this kind of thing, okay, about we have to go to find the relations of Turtle Heart to basically apologise and appease his death. But they do it so many years later. It's kind of dropping in. Oh yeah, you remember Turtle Heart? Yeah, you remember him? Yeah. It's like they go on this magical mystery tour to find Turtle Heart's relations. Okay, which by the way alludes to the Wizard of Oz in this. You know, I'm going to spoil this book because what the hell. They go on this magical mystery tour to go to find to the Heart's relation to apologise for his death. When they decide to return home, they go on like this mystery tour, okay, around Oz, okay, in which his family, you never imagine this, okay, but Elphaba's family, okay, they spent their time living in poverty. Her father being a minister, basically appealing for donations for his church and basically stealing the contents, and yeah, and basically struggling to eat. But hey, but when okay, they return to their original home, they find Toad Hart's family, alluding to the Wizard of Oz, find all four things. You know, if you want to find your heart's desire, you better stay in your own backyard. Right, here you go. Hey, I said before, I know my Wizard of Oz. So, this bit here is when the family is attacked. Now, as I think, I'm spoiling it, but I'm not going too much detail over who's doing whom, in case you actually want to read the book. Okay, so, slight spoilers. Okay, here you go. It's when the family is set upon, the family are attacked, and this bit here, okay, it's when Melina actually sacrifices herself, okay, to save Elphaba and Nessa's life. Here you go. Tell them that the children, tell them to take me. You want a night off from babysitting, and you hire little fingers it is, said Nanny. She's deranged with fear. No prize to her. Melina's always like been on display. Here she is as few have seen her before. In this very moment she's found her footing briefly. Pity won't be noted except by those who would never mention it. Here you go. Why Nanny can never give witness because the question would arise, why don't you offer yourself in Melina's place? Here you go. One moment, okay, where she wants to sacrifice herself for her children, and that's the thing, okay, it's doing it in public to basically take my children and not me, okay? Sorry, let's correct that. Take me and not my children. But everyone who actually knows Melina is kind of like, well, the double-edged sword. And then Nanny was like, oh, well, hold on. People will say, why don't you offer yourself too, either? So it's kind of every single thing that Melina does out of goodness. There's a darkness to it. There's a sting in the tail, which if you read Wicked or watched Wicked, that is how Elphaba is. Essentially, everything she does, she has good intentions, but was she just seeking good, or just good intent, or seeking good, or seeking attention? Intentions, yeah. So hey, so there's that interesting kind of economy with this, and of course, but Elphaba, young Elphaba doesn't even remember this. Interesting too, how you can see so much of Melina in Elphaba, but Elphaba never knows, never ever knows. There you go. Melina, why is it so hard to look at her? Is it that she's beautiful, and beautiful is hard to concentrate on? Is that she has only ever had a bum rap, been a cold unnatural mother like the rest of us, and without one moment of dignity, even courage doesn't conform with what else we know of her? There you go. Right. Oh, she's never going to be brave again, and then passes away giving birth to her third child, her first son, Shell. Okay? And the thing is this, okay, they pack up and they leave to go on their journey, and this is where this book absolutely falls apart. Now, it's a wicked childhood. Show me Elphaba's childhood, and it's weird. It basically goes from her to being a toddler, to being 10, to being 15. Kind of what happened in between. It felt like children grow up quickly, and Elphaba was no exception. I'm like, but you don't ever show me that. She is smart and she's quick-witted, and she's been growing up in this like very very adult world. Okay, she's the eldest daughter after all. But when I thought of Elphaba's childhood, I never imagined 10 cities. Of course not. No. And this bit here, okay, because remember with Nessa, she has no arms in this book. In that, essentially, Elphaba has basically been her caregiver her entire life, and that kind of breeds resentment. In a way, okay, it's Nessa needs so much attention that Elphaba's overlooked. In a way, she kind of likes that, but she also resents it too. Very bits about this book felt very, very real. Here you go. Sisters have survived, they grow apart. Or sisters hate each other before they come around, said Nanny with bland lack of conviction. She had no sisters. Nessa's neediness siphons off attention previous paid to Elphie. In time, Elphie comes to realize a gratitude which she resents having to observe. But observe it she does, as Nessa turns into more of a person, less of a scrap of accident. Right. Okay, after they leave their home and they go on their journey, settling with Frex trying to build up his kind of congregation of the god that he worships, which is family worship. And interesting too, what part Elphaba plays in this. Now, I thought it'd be quite interesting too. Now, first of all, Flashing back to Elphaba's childhood, that is wonderful. Interesting too is that Margaret Hamilton, who played the Wicked Witch of the West, who did a fantastic job. That role is iconic. She's in that film for less than 10 minutes and she owned each scene. That's the most iconic role. She went on Mr. Rogers and talked about how she thought that the Witch of the West, okay, was the way she was because she had no friends. It was to teach her a lesson. In this, I was hoping, because Gregory Maguire, I'll give him some respect when it comes to Oz, he knows his stuff, okay? Flashing back on Elphaba trying to make friends, trying to connect with people, being turned away, being shunned, being bullied, that kind of mean girl thing. This is never really shown, and that bothered me. And one thing is this, it's we always had the impression from just reading Wicked that everyone hated Elphaba. In the film Wicked, okay, that's alluded to when they have a flashback and people actually throwing stones at the children, both of them, okay, and well, attending to Elphaba, okay, Nessa's a toddler, but the thing is this: you never ever see that. Every place she goes, no one says anything about the color of her skin. There is no derision. I don't. Well, it's unpleasant to read and see. However, it would have been realistic. Imagine going into a place which would have happened according to Elphaba, and everyone looks at you. Everyone spits at you. Everyone being nasty to you. Everyone turning their back on you. We never actually really see her interacting with people of her own age. Right. There's a brief moment early on in the book where she meets like a young Munchkinlander, but that's not gonna come through it. Right. No. Here you go. Sometimes Elphaba and Nessa scream in laughter together. Sometimes they just scream. They are improbable sisters, but like two girls, likely to be more consistent than they are. Identical twins underneath their matched gendered means often take stances in opposition to each other. No one in a missionary camp has a benchmark to make a comparison about the sibling sisters. Rena Thorpe is an only child. Right. So, Teta Spine has a stepsister and a pet goat, and neither of them make much impression on her. Flexper Tongue Thorpe, the godly, is the seventh son of a seventh son. Above or less isn't the issue here. Now that is interesting. That really kind of played into it. Now, seventh son of a seventh son. Now there is a belief that the seventh sons of seventh sons, okay, have a natural ability of magic. Okay. Now, interesting too, because if you watched musical Wicked, okay, um, if you watch the musical Wicked, okay, the Wizard of Oz is her father, but this actually alludes to um, the magic has actually come from Frex, which I thought was quite an interesting dynamic. Now, there's always this belief in the book Wicked, okay, that Turtle Heart, part of the throuple, was actually Nessa's father. Turns out, no, later books actually, no, it's proven, okay, he's Frexper's. But, interesting too, okay, was where this Elphaba's magic inherited from. And I like the allusion to it actually could have been her father. A father who's actually a waste of space, incidentally. But the magic could have been from him. Now, by the way, alluding to another book, incidentally, Terry Pratchett did a really, really good book, okay, called Equal Rights, which had the seventh, see, the eighth, seventh being seventh son is eighth son of eighth son, but it was an eighth son was actually a daughter, okay, called Escarina. Just throwing that out there. Okay. So interesting too, whilst they're on this magical tour and trying to settle in places, is Elphaba's place in all of this. And I generally thought, okay, there will be more to this than that. I felt very disappointed by this book. This omniscient, like, third person narrative, okay, is just kind of all over the place. And one thing I didn't like about this book is I actually struggled putting this together to do a review because the prose style is so goddamn flat. Here you go. Here we are, right. Before prospecting for a possible congregation, Frex and Elphaba venture into the marketplace. We'll never be able to tie up our condolences with the actual family members, but in this crowded city, more likely to run into someone who's heard of Turtle Heart than in most places in the lowlands. We can only try. I don't really get the point, said Elphie. You didn't murder him, you didn't send him to the eminent fop's house to be murdered either. That's true. Also atone for the fact that the village cats kill village rats each day of their lives. Nothing to do with you. Taking responsibility for how the world works. Isn't that a kind of hubris? Right. Like, you know, even Elphaba points out, why are you going on this mystery tour, okay, to find the relations of Turtleheart to atone for his murder? even confused the hell out of me because Turtle Heart is not really felt like even a character in his book. He was a glass blower who became part of the throttle. There's also an allusion to about Elphaba actually being allergic to water. Now, interesting because in the actual book Wicked, okay, she is. Right, she absolutely is allergic to water. Right, it's not an illusion. In the film, she sets that up. Right, she sets that up the whole kind of allergy, and in the actual film, Cynthia Erivo's Elphaba actually sheds a tear, okay, and there's no burn marks on her cheeks. So the whole kind of Elphaba being allergic to water, okay, is I did actually like the ambiguity of this, okay? This bit here. This is when, okay, Nessa's actually about to drown. Tragedy it will be, because Elphie can't plunge into deep water any more than she could run face first into a bonfire. Right. How about a little fire, Scarecrow? Her body won't move itself. Paralysis, Nanny, and the jungle physicians with their charms and potions have all been wrong. Elphie has no more outlived her skin sensitivity to water than she's outgrown her green skin. Now, interesting too, because it takes to page 124 for that even to be mentioned she has an allergy to water. That was not established at any point in this. So it felt like setting up the ambiguity of her actually being allergic to water or not means she melts in the actual film. She also melts in the original book too. Okay, both hate the but well, actually, in the actual film it was accidental. In the actual book, Dorothy was a bit pissed. She just wanted her shoe back. Her shoe back, yeah. So, and in the actual book Wicked, it's an accident, and Dorothy is only there to actually apologise for murdering accidentally Nessarose. So there's an ambiguity running through this, which I did absolutely appreciate. Interesting too as well is what's not in this book. Now there's a scene where they go to a new location. They are setting up home, the congregation, to their god, okay, and what they had to do, okay, to raise fund is to raid Melina's trunk, okay, a trunk of clothes, sell them for food provision, that kind of thing. Now as they're going through the actual items, something that's not mentioned. They're talking about her dresses, her furs. They never ever mention her silver shoes. Now, in the book, they're silver. In Wicked, they're silver. Okay, because they couldn't get the rights at NGM and or now Warner Brothers. And but in the actual film, they're ruby slippers. Okay, there's no mention of the silver shoes, which I thought was interesting. It felt like at various points, Gregory Maguire was writing this and he got an idea. Oh, I must mention Elphaba's, um, you know, allergy to water, but I'm not going to mention the silver shoes. Or if it was in there, I absolutely missed that. And when it comes to her actually selling the clothes and also getting information about Total Heart's family, there you go. I don't remember that I asked you, were you interested in learning, if you had the talent to learn. You clearly know nothing about fashion, and take away your bribe and come back with an answer. Have the sheriff collect you if you shrink me. I know your family's staying out with Leilani's place. See, I do know to find things out. Here you go. This is when, okay, she goes to actually sell the items, but in the ovals where they are, it's interesting because a window is broken, and now Elphaba actually has to work, okay, for Unger to pay off the debt. Now, interesting too, it's whilst Elphaba is there, a window is broken, and Unger blames Elphaba and says, "You've got to work now to pay off my window, to pay off my debt." Interesting too is that everyone's talking, okay, about hexes, okay. How did that window break? Elphaba didn't do it. Nessa couldn't have done it. Cheryl didn't do it. So does the ambiguity, was it magic? Until Nanny points out, honey, it was probably Frex who broke that window for reasons unknown. Okay? That's the thing. If you will. So, but anyway, basically Elphaba is now working for Unger, fixing clothes and sewing and also working in the shop. That's the thing. So she gets a job. Now you would think once again, her working, a green girl working in the shop, people would not go there. They'd be absolutely terrified of her. This teenager green girl would look at her with disdain. They don't. They absolutely don't. If people were so cruel to Elphaba growing up, why do we, with the reader, never actually see any of this cruelty? No, absolutely not. And the things too also, okay, is when they're alluding to the Wizard of Oz, little bits hints dropping in, okay, things, okay, where some people say, okay, there's no place like home. Yeah, here we are. Right, this bit here is when, okay, Elpha's talking, okay, what Unga is teaching how to sew, okay. People show up with their dollies made of dried vines and bones and whatnot, and so I dropped the cut out wings and fixed them on. I have to admit though, I hate the idea of dolls and toys. I would like one, said Nessarose, a winged toy, winged nannikins. Right. Pagan nonsense, temptation and distraction, said her father. Here you go. So, winged animals, winged dolls, winged monkeys, that kind of thing. That kind of thing. But the thing is this, okay, as someone, okay, who's read as many incarnations as Wizard of Oz as I have, okay, this book is boring. This book is really, really boring. Listen to, okay, about Elphaba's place, whilst they're in Quadling country, whilst they're in the Ovals, okay? It's how her father starts a congregation, and Elphaba is the main attraction, dressed up in her mother's old clothes, which they didn't sell or trade, okay, to find information, okay, about Turtle Heart. She's working in a shop, right, which could get attention, and there's no people that are opinionated about her being there, or people saying, oh, I'm not going to shop here, okay, if you hire her, kind of thing. And kind of is absolutely fine with Elphaba, okay. It's also, okay, she goes to the congregation, okay, her father's setting up, where he's also pocketing, okay, the donations, because that's how he rolls. She has a magnificent singing voice. She sits there, okay, and sings the hymns, okay, of her people, and that gathers the crowd, if you will. There's no one's lobbing a rock at her here. Interesting. It's really interesting, okay, about how her childhood was meant to be so wicked that it turned her into something, okay, which she didn't like and made her have no friends. But at the same time, we never ever see that. Or if you do, okay, it's only ever alluded to, okay. And when, okay, Uspa, okay, is it Uspa? Unga is with Elphaba, okay, in the shop. He drops this advice to her, right? Over there's nothing to offer you. You're a sharp child. You ought to strengthen your reading. Your mind is curious and your attention is keen. You need something that hasn't been provided to you yet. It's called an education. Right. Huh. He says to that. Not bloody likely. Right. Listen, there are places in Oz that could give you more than your father can or I can. But to be ready, you need more math, more science. Don't you want to do prep school, but I think you can pick things up in a hiccup. In a hiccup, meaning as you go along. Right. But and also this, okay, there's a subplot going on with animals, okay. Elphaba befriends some animals with a capital A, which those, okay, actually read Wicked. They're talking, okay, how they're being pushed out of their country, okay, or pushed out of their areas, and that kind of thing. So this book is totally all over the place. She actually wants to grow up, okay, and go live with the animal bears, if you will, because they have shown her kindness, if you will. That's the thing. In the actual book Wicked, what do people who have shown Elphaba total kindness have been animals as well? Which, of course, okay, the wizard wants to quash them by moving their voices, okay, and regress them in nature, like he did to Dr. Dillamond. However, the book is still all over the place. Absolutely all over the place. But the thing is, Elphie gives the opportunity to go to school. Now, I was looking forward to this, okay, because she would actually be in the school. She would actually be around people of her own age, her peers, her peer group. And you know what nasty, okay, teenage girls can be for those actually see Mean Girls. We do not get that. What she does is Nessa goes to school, but Elphaba has to stand on boxes outside and basically move along in each classroom. That's her education. That is her education, yeah. Here you go. It's an education separate from the approved academic curriculum to study these girls. The cunning language, their unintelligible jokes, the implied allegiances and outrages, reluctance from time to time to tend to their lessons, a cannot but eavesdrop upon their puzzles of conviviality. She's mystified by this, as she is by every subject is at hand, though mostly she'd rather the students settle down and let teachers get on with it. Society is tiring. But, here you go. But the thing is, the porcelain tea set is actually left outside where she stands, and so she thinks it's for her. She takes it home. The girls have a tea party, and then it gets broken. Okay, so then it gets broken. And the thing is this: it's the ambiguity who broke it. Could have been Nessa. It wasn't Elphaba. Shell said he didn't. I generally think it was Frex. I generally think it was Frex who broke the teapot, the tea set, so he would have Elphaba under his control for longer. He didn't want her, okay, to get an education. That's what I think. That's what I think. So, but the thing is this: everything is alluded to, but there's no passion in these words. I'm in Oz, for God's sake. Show me Oz. This book is boring. This book is so boring. Okay, and there's once again an allusion to Elphaba's uh kind of parentage as well. Is when someone actually asked Elphaba, okay, about who are your forebears. Well, Elphaba indicated facts. My father is the seventh son of a seventh son. I don't mean him. I mean your forebears. Where does your instinct come from? I suppose my mother, who died 7 or 8 years ago. A start. But ancestors go way back and far and far. Right. We cherish them and weary too. They were the blended net that connected our souls and brought us forward into the light. You have strange prominence. My father is a minister in the Unionist faith. Right. I'm talking about the man. Right. Is what you sang a funeral song for the land of the Quadlings, for all of us. You give us longing, but you do not recognise for what. Yeah, interesting allusions, okay, to her power and where it comes from. This is, okay, when the family decided to return home, there's interesting too, because first of all, Elphaba has no memory of actually really living there to begin with. And this bit here, okay, right. She can pass by provoking only a sidelong glance, if that. Well, looks, here are other Munchkin landers doing trading, and they're paid and taller than the native quadlings. People with different traditions of dress and with different features and skin colours, and sometimes different accents or even different tongues. There's nobody else green, to be sure, but green seems just outrageous when there's so many other distractions on the streets. What if it fits in better in her hometown? Fits in better there. Hey, that's the thing. She fits in so well. I was expecting this entire book to be about how everyone tried to subjugate Elphaba. Everyone, okay, was being so mean to Elphaba. Elphaba, okay, you know, she sat there, okay, and couldn't cry herself to sleep at night, okay, because she couldn't cry at all. And she just, okay, repressed her anger. No, I got nothing from this book. This book is an, okay, I'll be truly honest, okay, even if I've got this far, because it's going to be an editing nightmare. This book taught me nothing, okay, about Elphaba or the world of Oz. This book is boring. The prose style of this book is so dull. This is the guy who wrote Wicked, for God's sake. Right. And then, when Associate of the Fathers comes up, okay, and mentions going to Shiz, Elphaba going to Shiz. Here you go. His name is Parisi Mengala, okay, or Mengala. Oh my God, Mengala? Okay, I'm going to spell it out. MENGA apostrophe AL. Mengala, oh my God. There's a character in this book with the name Mengala. Okay, here you go. A separate schools for girls and schools for young men. Supervision is strict, so you needn't be alarmed. So it'll be a challenge. Society is different there. Many sorts of people from all over Oz. I understand there might even be animals on the facility. And alone will take some getting used to. Right. Animals? Educated animal to whom I'm expected to talk? Okay. I won't worry about that overmuch, counselled the visitor. I think the practice of hiring animal professional and research posts is on the way at the moment. It would be safe enough. Oh yeah, because disdain for the animals. So it ends, okay, with Elphaba going to Shiz, and Ness is going to be following her shortly after. And this book is so dull. It doesn't even mention, okay, her exams of actually getting into Shiz. Now, I thought that'd be a really interesting thing to do. She has the exams for Shiz, and she aces them. But the thing is this. There would have been a moment, okay, of how come she's had no formal education, but somehow, wow, okay, everything is kind of pouring into her head, if you will. Here you go. Here you go. The 5 professors, that's who they are, will be interrupted in their scrutiny by another carriage arriving. The city members pivot, blocking Elphie's view. Right. Here you go. The attention to some mesmerising newcomer is discomforting but welcome. This gives Elphaba a chance to take a deep breath and summon her nerve. Right. Takes her sharp chin away from the new arrivals. Time enough for all of that. That's the thing. That's her. That's her starting Shiz. This book is so boring. Apart from all the allusions, okay, to the Wizard of Oz, okay, the actual original book, also, okay, the film, okay, because we all know, okay, that Gregory Maguire, alleged, okay, he got the Wizard of Oz, he based the Wicked off the book The Wizard of Oz. Yeah, well, since Elphie has green skin and she doesn't in the original book by Frank L. Baum, no. Okay, we all know that. So alleged, yeah, of course. Right. This book is so boring. This is a book about Oz, for God's sake. Oz, which, by the way, now, one thing that Dominic Noble famously pointed out in his review, I'm going to link to it, is Oz is a matriarchal society. Oz is a matriarchal society. All the women are in control until basically, well, hey, then there's going to be like a power struggle going on, okay, after they start getting dispatched off. But the people in control in Oz are women. I never got the hint of this being a matriarchal proper society, if you will, when everyone, okay, is basically kind of being pulled along on this journey, okay, by Frex, okay, who's on his mission, okay, for his unionist god. It bored me. It absolutely bored me. All the focus of Turtle Heart dying, basically, okay, and then the whole kind of we have to find relations, okay, to what appease him, okay. Even Alfie pointed out, why and how I expected to even care about that. Why I am expected to care about that when it's supposed to be Elphaba's childhood. This book is awful. It is awful. It is boring. There's nothing good about it. It is so dull. There could have been so much more. Elphie actually trying to find friends and being sneered at in public. Everyone just tolerates her presence. And it can't be okay, they tolerated her presence because her father was eminent fop. That's the thing, you always got that impression, okay? People tolerated her presence because her father was eminent fop, okay? So they tolerated her because her father had power. In this, he's in poverty. He lives in tent cities, okay? He just goes around, okay? Basically, he's a glorified con artist, fine enough. He must be more okay the Wizard of Oz than anyone else, incidentally. Right, then look behind the curtain. That's the thing. Yet, no one is overtly mean to Elphaba. Overtly mean to Elphaba. Right. No. No way. So, Elphie, a wicked childhood. Nothing wicked about it. It's boring, it's dull. Don't recommend it. But I'm looking forward to seeing the second film, though. Okay, I haven't actually bought that on Blu-ray yet. I'm gonna wait for it to come out and just get one big bundle. So, and by the way, I do recommend you watch Tin Man. And by the way, my darling, you deserve better. I love this one. So, I love Margaret Hamilton. So, I'm signing off here.